Welcome, people of the World Wide Web. So as usual, it's the weekend, and as you already know from what it is, this is a movie review of the Three Musketeers, Milady. So this is part two of this new kind of franchise that they're trying to ignite. Obviously, this is a French-based movie because obviously it's about the Three Musketeers and obviously D'Artagnan, as the first film would be. It is obviously in French, so there are subtitles. So, like commoner like me, if you don't know read French, then you have something to at least read as you go on. I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. So, people who didn't know the first story, obviously the Three Musketeers, D'Artagnan, as the first one is called, is the story of D'Artagnan coming to the guard, training to be a musketeer, getting in. And in between helping the Queen out with getting a necklace back that gets stolen, and having to travel from France to the UK and then back again. And at the end of it, his kind of love interest, Constance, gets kidnapped at the end of one, where she realises, because she comes across the traitor inside the person behind the king's attempted death that happens near the end of the first film. So the second film, obviously, this is the story of D'Artagnan trying to get Constance back, in between everybody trying to figure out what the hell is happening with the king's assassination, and kind of a divide between parts of France. And that you have one part of France who is trying to get with or help the English, so Lord Buckingham, to come and help them against them. So there is a much of divide, and then obviously you have this internal struggle because the Musketeers are kind of the nation's police force, but they believe there is corruption inside of there, with the Cardinal Richelieu obviously being near the top of the head, and the king's brother also helping out. It's twists and turns. So if you like the first film, I would definitely say you're gonna like this one. There is no after credit scenes, but like the first one, they kind of leave it open. Now, I was told and led to believe that when they filmed these two back to back, so 1 and 2 were filmed back to back over a period from 21 I think to 22, that was it. It was a two-parter, but I think this maybe will lead on to more. Going in thinking it's the kind of conclusion did throw me off a little bit. Like, there are a lot of positives for this. So it is well shot. The camera most of the time, it does go a little bit shaky, but it's just trying to follow the normal flow of the fight work. The fight work is very basic to the time, so we've got no magic, shooting people 5 times and all this stuff, and doing backflips and stuff like that. This is proper like sword fighting and punching, and if somebody gets punched a few times, they get down, but they can get back up, and then they get stabbed like once or twice, and that's it, they're gone. And as I said from the first film, this is a very realistic type film and portrayal of the Musketeers, and I really liked it. I would probably say I liked 1 more than 2. I don't know where 2 was going in places. I'm not saying it wasn't a fun watch, but I enjoyed it anyway. Let's put the spoiler review up and let's get into it. So, as I said, the film starts with Constance. She's been kidnapped, and that is more or less the story of D'Artagnan going after her. He also gets kidnapped at the very beginning of it, and believes that a high official who kidnaps him has her. He also kind of gets where he gets taken to when he gets kidnapped. He meets up with Milady, the Winter, who we know about. She has been kidnapped, and there is kind of this story that then enthralls these two. As you go along, there are a few surprises and a few not surprises. So this film is very good in one way, that sometimes it puts stuff in your face. So there is a reveal about Milady that she's actually linked to someone within the Musketeers mythology. Now, I don't know back from the original ones if there was ever this. It kind of blatantly almost puts it out there as soon as they have a bit of flashback and you meet where this woman is, or who she was previously before becoming Milady de Winter. And obviously this film is more centred on her. There's a lot of back and forth with it. There are some very good camera work. I say the fight scenes, there is a good bit where D'Artagnan jumps off this building, and I can't tell if it looked like the main actor did it and then a cameraman followed him, but it is superbly. There was stuff like this, they took chances and stuff on some of this, and it actually does really, really well. It draws you more into the action stuff, which I really liked. First one, as I say, they put stuff in your face like the Milady, and then the next minute there'll be just a plain conversation between 2 people, and then something unexpected will happen, and it did that a few times throughout this, and I thought that was really, really good. as I say, it has a natural progression to it. Obviously, you try and find out who's behind all of this, and obviously the alliances from the first one come into play. Kind of the musketeers, Athos, he kind of takes centre stage a lot on this. And obviously, you mentioned about his wife and his son, and that he, you know, as they go into war with the British. It comes forth that you meet Aramis's, his sister's pregnant, so you get to see her in this, and then the suitor she ends up with is very surprising. I'm not going to say that, and they do this kind of comedy bit besides action bit. They do very well. It's kind of the in betweens that lost me a little bit in here, and I'll say that obviously it leads up to a point of D'Artagnan finding Constance, and that's as far as I'm going to leave that story. I'm not going to give away too. I want to keep quite a lot because I think there's a lot of surprises in this. The same way with who Milady's linked to and everything. I'm not going to mention any of that. But as the story's going on, it is kind of leading to you're trying to find the betrayer of the king, but it doesn't come across as bad as you, or it kind of isn't. The person isn't as menacing as you think. Like, you know, yeah, it is a bit of a shock, but even the revelation of how it's portrayed near the end of the film isn't great. I don't know if it was rushed. It just didn't play out as it should have done in my eyes. As I say, and maybe this is because this shouldn't have been a two-parter. Maybe this is a third. Maybe there is a third to come. Maybe there is another Musketeers going to be after this. Hopefully, I mean, I know it's been quite successful in France and that where it's been shown. I know the first film didn't made about its budget back, so I think, or it might have made a bit of money. So I'm hoping that this does well because I think this is a really good film. I even got the DVD or Blu-ray for my birthday, the first one. But yeah, as I say, it kind of, you have the revelation of this, and it kind of is, oh yeah, well done. You have kind of almost a happy ending, and then you kind of have the individual characters of where they are kind of going. I say this is where the twists and turns, and you have a bit of comedic bits and a few serious bits and a few sad and a few happy bits, and then you kind of have the final revelation at the end of something happens, there's another kidnapping, and there is a clue to who that was, and this is it. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. It kind of makes money more. I really wish that kind of happened early, and we'd maybe found out who the traitor was, but they still had more time to kind of dig themselves into a hole and play out the character a bit more. So I am going to give this 6.7. I said I was torn between 7 and 6.5. I said I think the first film, as I said, is better because it has a more steadier flow. I don't know, and I didn't really find too many problems with it. Now, obviously, we have a second one. This is like franchise movie, and so I would, unless this was like absolutely the most amazing film ever, I'm gonna rate it probably lower than I would if it was a standalone film. I say it's a good film. I really enjoyed it. I hope there is more to come of this franchise. You know, the director and everything. I think I might have to look into if they've done anything else, because it is really well shot. It's some of the funny moments and everything else. It is brilliantly. I say I'm hoping, and I should check maybe if it's dubbed in a language, it might be good for more audiences to see this, because I think unless you speak French or are into subtitles, it's gonna deter a lot of people, and I think that shouldn't be the case. But anyway, that has been my review of The Three Musketeers Part 2, Milady. Have you seen this film? What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things you want to do, and I shall see you in the next one.